try as they might, Android phone makers still haven't quite got the recipe right for handheld gaming. But one manufacturer that keeps on trying is ASUS, with its ROG division, or ROG. The ROG Phone 8 has launched for 2024, delivering the usual top-tier performance hardware in an Android phone. But with the rise of portable handheld gaming consoles that can run proper AAA titles, does it even make sense to have a ROG phone anymore? I'm Cam Bunton from Pocket-lint, and in this review/comparison, I'll run over the benefits and compromises of both approaches with the help of the ASUS ROG Ally, the company's own portable gaming PC. There's no comparison when it comes to size and portability, so if there's one benefit of the ROG Phone 8 and building gaming performance hardware into a smartphone, it's the fact that it can fit in your pocket. Try that with the ROG Ally and you might just find yourself needing some new trousers, or developing a limp. For the ROG Phone 8 in particular, ASUS has trimmed down a lot from the previous model. It's no longer a chunky bezeled device with a rounded fat back. It's slim, flat, and has really skinny bezels around all sides of the display. But let's not kid ourselves into thinking this is a compact phone though. It's not. It's still up there with the biggest phones on the market thanks to that huge 6.78-inch AMOLED display. Diagonally, that's actually not much less than the 7-inch display on the ROG Ally, but with that screen being a wider 16:9 aspect ratio on the Ally, the actual surface area or display real estate is smaller on the phone. Still, as phones go, that big display is one of the biggest available on any smartphone on the market. And ASUS's approach, of course, wasn't to build a portable gaming PC with the ROG Phone, but rather making a phone that's easy enough to carry around in your pocket, but still giving you the features and performance that you need to play the most demanding mobile games. Now that includes adding things like the touch-sensitive trigger buttons on the shoulders of the phone, which you can map to different controls in some games. They're really useful for games like Call of Duty Mobile, where you want to keep your fingers off the screen. But with that said, most of the time I wanted to get into a proper gaming session on the phone, I connected it to my Xbox controller via Bluetooth and attached the phone to the controller using a cheap grip I found on Amazon. It's not a perfect solution because the heaviness of the phone versus the controller did make it feel quite top heavy. So if I was to offer advice, I would be find a sturdier grip than this one. Now the other option for physical buttons is to attach the new air cooler fan on the back, providing left and right trigger keys as well as a USB pass-through for power and wired audio. Now the ROG Ally of course has all of its controls and buttons built into the chassis of the device, giving you those classic joysticks, the D-pad and the X, Y, A and B buttons, plus physical shoulder buttons, triggers and a couple of macro paddles on the back that you can customize. So one really interesting development in the world of gaming over the past few years has been the move to cloud gaming services. I'm thinking mostly of Xbox Game Pass here. The fact that you can load it up on pretty much any smartphone regardless of the performance that phone offers is a great way to get access to proper AAA titles on a phone. The only downside of this service is that it requires a fast internet connection, and because of that it's not always amazing for games that require really quick reactions. So possibly not the best for racing games or first-person shooters, or anything where a skipped frame will completely ruin your game. For those slower, most casual desktop games, it's wonderful, even if the resolution isn't the highest. And this is where the ROG Ally approach works really well. It runs Windows, and so that means you can download any desktop-compatible game onto it, whether that's through the Steam Store, Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Store, or any other desktop service. And you can download and run them natively on the device's own storage without the need for any internet connection to actually play them. So you can take your console off to the woods, have no signal, and still get the same experience. You can definitely see where ASUS has learned from its PC gaming experience with the ROG Phone though, especially when it comes to the customization and the game-centered features built into Game Genie and Armory Crate. While gaming, a simple swipe down from the corner launches this dedicated interface where you can toggle and tweak with a number of different gaming options, like switching the refresh rates or blocking alerts and calls from distracting you during a game. If you want to tweak settings for individual games, you can load up the pre-installed Armory Crate app and customize scenarios on a per game or app basis. And you can boost performance on particularly demanding games or see your key mapping. You can even download pre-made air trigger settings for games like Genshin Impact. You'll find similar controls in Command Center for ROG Ally too, although there are a few more options there on the PC software. Where the ROG Phone 8 holds its own place in the world of smartphones is more in the performance, and not because it's necessarily faster or smoother than any other phone. After all, it has the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor as the other flagship Android phones from 2024. However, the ROG Phone 8 is all about how it uses that power and keeps it sustained for a longer period of time. And the reason it can do that is how the internals have been built and arranged, and the cooling system that's been applied to the central chipset. And it actually is in the center too, mounted in the middle of the phone in between two halves of the battery. It has a dedicated heatsink and combines various materials like a boron nitride agent injected through the motherboard and large graphite sheets to effectively and quickly move that heat away from the processor. So that means you can keep games running at 60 frames per second consistently for long periods of time without it throttling. And that performance becomes even better if you use the optional extra cooler on the outside. And since we're in the ballpark, let's talk battery. With its 5,500 mAh capacity, the ROG Phone 8 can easily last a full day on a full charge, and because it's got the 8 Gen 3 inside, it doesn't drain super fast when gaming either. I could comfortably spend 2 or 3 hours a day just gaming on the ROG Phone, and even that amount of use in various types of games wasn't enough to drain the battery. And with all of them, I was able to keep a smooth 60 frame per second consistency. 2 or 3 hours on a powerful mini PC system like this ROG Ally, depending on the type of games you play, could be enough to completely empty it. And with the fast charging 65-watt power adapter in the box with the phone, you can refill the phone in about 40 minutes too. The ROG Ally will take about an hour. Now onto one area the ROG Phone 8 doesn't have to compete with a gaming handheld: cameras. Mobile consoles are made for one thing only, and that's gaming. So they typically don't have cameras, where the ROG Phone 8 obviously does and has 4 of them. Here's the thing though, for a phone that costs as much as it does, these cameras don't actually perform all that amazingly well. ASUS has poured its efforts and money into the performance and gaming experience of the phone. Still, the primary camera on the back is decent. It's got that impressive gimbal stabilized main camera that I loved on the Zenfone 10. It delivers strong, vibrant images with crisp details and a lovely depth of field to them. And there's a proper zoom camera on the phone too, offering 3 times optical zoom. You can go further with digital, but it doesn't look very good. It's decent enough though, although I did notice quite a difference in the color processing between the zoom and the main cameras when shooting closer objects. Based on that, I'd have to say only use this when you have to and you can't get closer to your subject. Otherwise, just move closer and use the main camera. The ultra-wide along these two means you get a versatile all-around system, but one that is easily outperformed by devices like the Pixel 8 Pro, which is actually cheaper than the ROG Phone. And that brings us on to the one key differentiator between gaming phones and portable gaming consoles. This phone is expensive. It starts at $1,100, and that's just for the entry-level version. A dedicated portable gaming machine like the ROG Ally not only delivers a better selection of games and built-in controls, but also costs about half the amount of this phone. In fact, you can get the Steam Deck for $500. In the end, the gaming phone as a concept is still interesting and stands in its own weird little niche. It doesn't do gaming like a handheld gaming handheld, and it doesn't do the camera, the photography or the video capture as well as a normal flagship phone offered by the likes of Samsung, Google or Apple. Still, it's great for media consumption and is a wonderful phone for gaming and performance if you want something that fits in your pocket that offers more consistent and long-lasting performance for your mobile games. So if that's what you care about, absolutely get this phone. But still, I can't help but feel that with the rise of gaming handheld PCs, its days are numbered. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, or you can get me on Threads. I'm at Cam Bunton. If you like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe and tap the notification bell, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.